Okay, this is Matt Yahoo Kanan, Dominovitz. I am here, and I'm going to wait for some people to come on. I saw Savannah here earlier, and she tried to get on. And I'm hoping that the connection will be a whole lot better now, and I'm trying to make sure that that is the case. Chris, can you hear me? Sister, how you doing, Chris? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I'm gonna can you hear me, Chris? I hope you can hear me. I am trying to see first. I have had problems. Okay, well, I'm not going to be 20 minutes, Savannah, so you're going to be good with this. This is not going to take long at all. Okay, thank you, Chris. Savannah, Chris, thank you for coming on. We're going to talk about what Juan Sanchez of High Point Baptist Church, Austin, Texas, has said about those who would insist on observing the feast days. And I'm going to make sure that you are able to hear the audio. I'm going to play the audio because I can't share it. I'm going to play the audio, and I'm going to ask. I want you to listen very carefully, okay? So here we go. Now, he's talking about Philippians chapter 3, and he's using the reference to beware of the dogs, beware of the evil workers, beware of the mutilation. Now, he's right in talking about saying that circumcision is not necessary for salvation, because Titus wasn't circumcised at all, but Timothy was. And Timothy was so that he could minister to the Jews in his own way. And I think we know that, don't we? Thumbs up if I've got the context of that passage correct. But I believe I do. Now I'm going to let you listen to Juan Sanchez, and let's see what he says about all this. And tell me if you can hear.
And that's why Paul calls them mutilators of the flesh, because all they're doing is mutilating the flesh. They're not actually advancing the gospel in any way, shape, or form. Today's legalistic false teachers may not be pushing circumcision, but they still offer false hope in similar ways. Well, if you want to be a real Christian, you can't dress like that.
You hear that?
You gotta dress a certain way. You have to look a certain way. You can't cut your hair. You can't wear makeup, ladies. If you want to be really holy, then you must abstain from certain foods, and you must abstain from certain drinks. If you want to be really godly, then you must avoid dancing, playing cards, listening to worldly music. If you want to be a real faithful Christian, then you will actually go back and you will observe all the Old Testament feasts and all the Old Testament days. You hear what's going on in this kind of legalism, this idea that Christ is not enough. You can have Christ because you need Christ, but then you have to do this, or you have to abstain from certain things.
Okay.
And the heart of legalism is just adding rules.
Adding rules.
Word, claiming that these are the things you must do if you're to be really saved, if you're to be really holy, and if you're to be really faithful.
Okay, so stop right there. If you are to be saved, if you are to be holy, if you are to be righteous. Did you all get this right now? Did you hear that? Do you want me to run that again? Give me a thumbs up if you want me to run through that audio clip again. Did everybody hear what Juan Sanchez said from the pulpit yesterday? Please give me a thumbs up if you heard that. I don't have a thumbs up. Did you not hear it? You heard. Chris said she heard me. So if you heard me, you had to have, hopefully you had to have heard Juan Sanchez. Okay, so I got a thumbs up there. Okay, so now, okay, I got to look at my comments down below. They didn't scroll down automatically. No wonder I didn't see. Okay, great. So now, Ronald Bauman and Elzeby. Nice to see you, Elzeby. Great. Okay, so I'm going to replay that clip again for those who just joined us. we're going to listen to Juan Sanchez from High Point Baptist Church, Austin, Texas, about what he says about those who would be insistent upon the feast days and that the Torah even applies for today. I'm gonna go through this again, so I want you all to hear.
Physical circumcision doesn't save anybody, and that's why Paul calls them mutilators of the flesh, because all they're doing is mutilating the flesh. They're not actually advancing the gospel in any way, shape, or form. And today's legalistic false teachers may not be pushing circumcision, but they still offer false hope in similar ways. Well, if you want to be a real Christian, you can't dress like that.
Oh.
You got to dress a certain way. You have to look a certain way. You can't cut your hair. You can't wear makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Ladies. If you want to be really holy, then you must abstain from certain foods and you must abstain from certain drinks. If you want to be really godly, then you must avoid dancing, playing cards, listening to worldly music. If you want to be a real faithful Christian, then you will actually go back and you will observe all the Old Testament feasts and all the Old Testament days. Can you hear what's going on in this kind of legalism, this idea that Christ is not enough?
Mm-hmm.
You can have Christ because you need Christ, but then you have to do this or you have to abstain from certain things. And at the heart of legalism is just adding rules to God's word, claiming that these are the things you must do if you're to be really saved, if you're to be really holy, and if you're to be really faithful.
Did you hear that, folks? Okay. I'm going to identify some inherent problems that I see with what he just said, Juan Sanchez. Now, Samuel, nice to have you on. Right, Savannah. It's quite obvious he used the issue of circumcision, but he catapulted the issue of circumcision, and he expanded that into, okay, feast days and laws and all this stuff. Okay, but now it's true. Paul said, and it's true, that you're not saved by circumcision. You don't have to get snipped at the end of whatever for the males to enter into the covenant. No, you don't have to. Okay. This is so, but see, Juan Sanchez abuses this text by then saying, okay, now this applies to feast days, this applies to the Torah, this applies to the law of the old covenant. And this is where I found the problem with a lot of this. And in the sermon, you have to go watch it on your own, and I'll provide the link if I can. But he uses the book by St. Clair Ferguson regarding antinomianism versus legalism. Okay, but he says he's neither. But then what does he say? He says, doesn't matter how you dress, doesn't matter what you drink, you don't have to obey the dietary laws, is what he was saying. And you know, if you want to play cards and you want to listen to worldly music, it's quite okay. That means if I want to pop on my satanic Led Zeppelin, it's quite okay to do so, and you can't judge me on that. Well, I won't judge you, but you're putting things into your eye gate and ear gate that are inappropriate. So, no offense, ladies, because I'll talk about men too. But ladies, if he's telling the ladies, go ahead and run around in yoga pants in my congregation and be immodest. And go ahead and wear makeup. By the way, the Book of Enoch talks about how makeup is a deceptive practice. And if you insist that it's okay to go dancing in the bar, but then you can't dance in church, this is the typical Baptist thing. You know, he even said that. Okay, so if it's okay to dance in the bar but not in church, I wonder what the problem is with that, even when King David danced. So it's okay to dance, you know, in the kicker bar and be in the bar, but not in the church where you ought to be doing it. Would anybody agree with that today? See, hi, Richard Ahava. Nice to have you there. So, understand. I'm going to play this again for one more time. Savannah says she can only be here 20 minutes. So if you have to leave, Savannah, I bless you and thank you for coming whenever you got to go. But I'm going to play this again. I want you all to understand what Juan Sanchez is saying. He's sitting here saying he's neither an antinomian or a legalist, yet he seems to become more of an antinomian, the type of thing that he says he's trying to avoid.
The people of God was by circumcision. That was a sign of the covenant, of entrance in the community. And so they're thinking, in order for you to become a part of the people of God, you too must be circumcised.
And I agree with that.
Circumcised, then you cannot be a part of the people of God. By adding to God's word, these Judaizers were actually doing Satan's work. But I want to make sure that we're clear. Just because this is satanic doesn't mean they go around looking like the devil.
See, he says satanic.
These are actually very well.
He identifies the word satanic.
So deceptive. They're well-intentioned people writing blockbuster books from Christian publishers, having massive traffic through their own blogs and social media.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
Headline speakers at Christian conferences.
Sounds good, doesn't it?
These kinds of false notions that distort the gospel of Jesus Christ.
False notions that distort the gospel.
If you want to be a real faithful Christian, then you will actually go back.
I'm going to back up a little bit. I want to get to the appropriate context here. I'm going to go right about there.
Physical circumcision doesn't save anybody.
He's correct about this.
And that's why Paul calls them.
But watch where he takes it.
Because all they're doing is mutilating the flesh. They're not actually advancing the gospel in any way, shape, or form. Today's legalistic false teachers may not be pushing circumcision, but they still offer false hope in similar ways. Well, if you want to be a real Christian, you can't dress like that.
You can't wear yoga pants. It's okay.
Dress a certain way.
Go ahead, wear yoga pants. Go ahead, men wear cutoff t-shirts.
Ladies,
wear them tight jeans, men or women.
Then you must abstain from certain foods, and you must abstain from certain drinks.
Go ahead, eat pork or shellfish. It's okay.
Godly, then you must avoid dancing, playing cards, listening to worldly music. If you want to be a real faithful Christian, then you will actually go back and you will observe all the Old Testament feasts and all the Old Testament days. Can you hear what's going on in this kind of legalism, this idea that Christ is not enough?
Oh, yeah.
You can have Christ because you need Christ, but then you have to do this or you have to abstain from certain things.
Yeah.
And at the heart of legalism is just adding rules.
Okay. So I want you to comment. Is this antinomianism, legalism from Juan Sanchez, or neither? You make the decision. Okay? Okay, so is it okay? Yeah, Chris Ariella is right about that. This guy is a Jesuit. Go look, go. I'm going to give you the link to this sermon, and I'm going to let you go look at my Facebook wall, and I've already posted up how he has the all-seeing eye sun disk baptistry with a checkerboard, with a white cloth wrapped around a cross shaped in the shape of a Baphomet devil. Now, if that's not enough, go look at that. You go look at that and go look at the sermon and go look at that baptistry and go look what he has posted below the baptistry. He has two phallic tree figures, and he has those year-round over there. So this is a pagan idolatry. There's no doubt about it. Pagan idolatry. Okay? If we tolerate pagan idolatry, we are going to be fallen. I'm going to end the video, and I want your comments below, and tell me I'm wrong. I'll give you the link to the video also in the comment section. Shalom, shalom.